So a complement is a product or a service, so something different from your core product that increases willingness to pay. So razor blade, coffee machines and capsules, printers and cartridges, lots and lots of examples. And it's really easy to underestimate the value of complements because when complements exist, we often take them for granted, right? We're not really thinking about them all that much. So take cars as an example. So if I ask you, Aidan, like what's your willingness to pay for a specific car? I don't know, 20,000, 30, maybe expensive taste, I don't know, $50,000 for a car. And then think cars without complements. That means no gas stations, no repair shops, no roads, no driving schools, no signals, no, it's really all of these other things that make cars as valuable as they are today. And so one of the key issues in identifying complements is just to have the right idea. What else needs to be in place to strengthen the willingness to pay of my customers? And so Harkins is a movie theater chain out in the western part of the United States. And they look at their data and they notice that young people go to the movies and they are a little older, they still go to the movies, they get married, they go to the movies, and then a little while later they stop. What's the issue? Babysitting services. So they have these play centers in their movie theaters where you can drop off your kids at the price of a ticket for the movie, so much cheaper than babysitting services at home. And so when I ask people, how do you increase willingness to pay for a movie going experience? What I typically get, for some reason, the first suggestion is always better seats. I don't know, people are really unhappy with the seats.
I
The
use
seats
this,
that
by the way, with my kids, and my son is only 10. He said better seats. And he
better
said
seat. Everybody
popcorn.
always says better
Yeah.
seats. So that's like, if anyone is listening from the movie theater business, that's like a real opportunity. And then, of course, better sound system, better projection, all these kinds of things. So when you think about ways to increase willingness to pay, mostly you think about the product itself, right? You think about what can I make better in a movie theater. But the childcare services example is really interesting and powerful because it's one step removed, right? I operate a movie theater, but now I'm thinking about food and drink, and I'm thinking about parking, and I'm thinking about childcare services. Why? Those are all complements for the main service that I'm trying to sell. And so again, like I think looking at customer journeys and carefully thinking about what else needs to be in place in order to increase willingness to pay is really powerful. And it wouldn't be surprising if you ended up thinking about, worrying about businesses that seem quite distant from what you do today. And the Michelin example is a great example because you're thinking, well, if I want to have a really great meal in some city that I'm not familiar with, like why on earth would I ask the producer of automobile tires? That makes no sense. Like, why does Michelin have this guide? And of course, the answer is, oh, early automobile history in France, all the cars are in Paris and people just drive locally. And if you only have local traffic, you're in the business of making tires. That's not a very promising industry. And so you're thinking about helping people make longer journeys in the interest of them using up lots and lots of tire. And so it's quite interesting how they then, in the beginning, it has lots of maps in the guide because people don't really quite know where to go. The restaurant recommendations, of course, make it more likely that you'll go to some place, the hotels that they recommend, and so on and so on. And so it's a great complement in the sense that it encourages behavior that then in the end supports the company's core business. And that's the way to think about complements. What else needs to be in place that would lift willingness to pay? And maybe the most beautiful thing about this complement relationship is that if the price of the complement falls, willingness to pay for the core product goes up. Okay. Why is this so important? Well, if you think back to the Amazon story, the reason why Amazon was interested in producing the Kindle in the first place is that they expected the future to be in ebooks. And in ebooks, differentiation is basically impossible. An ebook is an ebook is an ebook. So they expected really stiff price competition in ebooks. The price for ebooks falls. Whenever a price falls, you ask, what's the complement for which willingness to pay will go up? And that, of course, is the Kindle. So it was a way to insulate their business against the future possibility that ebooks would be very popular. Now, of course, we know it's about 20% of the market or so. It's not that popular, but it was a very smart move in thinking about whenever you expect the price to fall, the first thing you want to ask is, oh, what's the complement? Where does willingness to pay go up? That might be a real business opportunity.